and said, you know what, yeah, I am choosing being beautiful from the inside out. Because it's so valuable, as you know, talking to each other and hearing about others' experiences. And really, we learn through osmosis as women. And it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce you to Amy Lazar. So everybody do Mojo with this round of applause. Teresa, Natalia, Tricia, and Kameko. Come on up, ladies. Thank you for joining me. We're gonna have a fireside chat. Got a little fireside chat, right? So thank you so much. And as you saw, these ladies have the little gold sparkle. They all chose to walk through that beautiful door, through the Mojo door, and I'm in your light. Oh my goodness, I'm in your light. And so they've been, thank you, first of all, for being willing and generous to share with everybody here. Because the work that we do and the practices and everything and the journey that you go on, as I mentioned the other day, it's a little difficult to explain. Only because this particular work is so experiential. Would you agree? And then you take it into your life and you're like, I did these things and I don't really quite know, but all of a sudden all this stuff is like changing in my world. So I'm gonna let them share with you, but the first thing, just introduce yourself, share how long you've been in the mentorship, and like why you actually decided to choose yourself. Because the choice to be in this mentorship, or frankly when you choose something to support yourself, it's about supporting you, right? Really diving into that. So we'll start with you, Amy.
Hello. So 3 years ago, it was April 2016, that I came to my first Rock Your Mojo, and I know I've shared this story before, but when the opportunity was presented to us to come on board the mentorship, I actually leaned over to the person next to me and said, I won't be doing that. Just because I was so daunted by the bigness of the commitment and the financial commitment, and sounded great, but it wasn't going to be. But then I had a talk with Deborah, and there was something deep inside that really felt how much I was ready for and needed and welcomed the support, the accountability. There's so much that I know about, that I've been devoted to learning and acquiring the knowledge for decades, and yet the gap between what my life looked like and what I wanted it to look like was vast 3 years ago. And so there was just something that I didn't know how, I didn't know what. It was definitely a legs up on the wall experience that, and then came on board. And the next 24 hours were, oh my God, what do I do? And that was the legs up on the wall. But then there was really this choice where I felt, there's a part of me that felt, if I don't, oh, you know, what is, I couldn't bear what that meant. Here 3 years later, and I humbly sit before you, a work in progress. In some ways, I feel light years ahead of where I was. And happily, devotedly, and in the work to continue to evolve.
Yeah, well, and we'll go down. I'm excited for you to share also what happened kind of right after you said yes. So we'll keep introducing ourselves. And how long you've been in the mentorship, and what was your choice? Like, what was your why of saying yes to yourself?
So I'm Teresa, everybody. I have now 1.5 years into my mentorship, and why I did it is because, you know, I just felt stuck, you know, and I was miserable, even though outside I didn't maybe look miserable. You know, people would always say, God, Teresa, you're so strong, and this and that, and, you know, I was dealing with a lot of things in my life, financial issues, marriage issues, and I didn't think my marriage would last. very much longer, or I would be stuck in that marriage also. That's what I was really afraid, that I was just gonna be stuck in this miserable marriage forever. And I just needed to work on myself. And so I was afraid of the financial thing. I didn't even come to the Mojo weekend when I signed up. It was before then when I talked to Deborah. I saw her at another event and it just felt right. You know, I just loved her energy. And I thought, I have, like she said, I have to do it. I have to do it for myself. I have to invest in me, because I didn't know what was gonna happen to me. And I needed to change. I needed to take a different direction, go in a different direction in my life. And it's worth every cent, and it's priceless. It's priceless. And I had no idea what it was really about, and I never really even knew about all these things. That was just, I'm like, really? you could tell yourself, talk to yourself, change your mind patterns, and so humongous learning experience for me, and I'm just continuing on and on and on. I thought after a year I'd have it, but you know, it's just so much to take in.
Thank you. Yeah, Natalia.
Hello, my name is Natalia. I've been in the mentorship for 6 months. And when I decided to do it, it was really tough for me. I was sick overnight too after I said yes. Because my husband, he wasn't working for 7 months. It's the main source of income. I had a job, but it's not the best pay. However, because he has no job, I have to cover the insurance through my work, which it was 70%. So it was ridiculous, the amount that I was getting in every check pay. But I had the feeling and myself, the conviction that I want to do it. And then it was like 7 months without work, and how I'm gonna do it. Should I tell him, should I not? It was just like this battle inside, but I want to do it, and I got busy, and my body was responding to it. And then I was getting out of, I was just back that time, it was like probably 8 months that I switched to another school. I work in the school district, and I was just like barely getting out from a very poisonous environment that I was in like for 6 years. The teacher in there was really disrespectful and mean, and you know, the power thing, and just putting not only me, the other co-workers down. And it was just like this very toxic environment that I couldn't deal with it. And then I was thinking, well, getting moved or transferred to another school, it will alleviate that. But I guess, well, no, I went into depression, plus the finances and all these things that self-acceptance, it was my main issue, if we can call it issue, because I know that now nothing of those exists, because I've learned so much. And then I decided to say yes to myself. And then I was like with such a fire beginning to this program, because I really truly believe that I deserve that for me. So forget about everybody else. And I did it, and then I tried every single minute to write notes on napkins, and then listening and doing my job and doing my chores, and then getting up and dancing in my underwear, and then I'm still doing it until this day, and then remind myself that I'm valuable, that it's worth it. And it is just like these things start happening. My husband has a job, like he needs more time, I guess. He's working weekends. He went back to another company and my son got a raise. My son lives with me. I haven't got a raise in 6 years, and I got a raise with retroactive from 2015. It is just like these, I was just like, thank you. And then it is just like accepting myself for my value, and just like using my voice. I think it was the key component for me, standing by myself and for myself, even if I'm shaking. I had, that I'm brave. Yeah, and then I think I can. I'm still in the process, but choosing to be part of the mentorship is one of the best things that ever happened to me. Very empowerment and healthy and fun.
Wow. So my name is Tricia, and I've been in the same amount of time as Natalia. And all I can say is when I decided, okay, so I came here like everybody else did, and there was no way I was going to be able to do this. No way at all. I was newly divorced. I just moved. Like, I was really underwater financially. So no, as nice as it would be, no. And as I sat and listened, there was a panel just like this. I just kept thinking to myself, wow, I really do deserve better. And then there was no way I could do it. And I kept battling with myself and arguing with myself. And I think I had a mini session back there. And essentially you were like, so what are you gonna do? I mean, really, that's the decision. I mean, really, the decision is not about your finances, about your spouse, about your ex-spouse, about your children. The decision is about whether or not you're going to choose you. And I decided to choose myself. And I've never looked back. It really is one of the best decisions I've made. And it's really what I've decided about this too, because there are lots of people out there that offer programs, and they're asking a certain amount of money, and it's not about the money. It is about when this opportunity shows up for you, and it's about whether or not you decide to choose yourself and walk on that path.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
Beautiful, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kameko, and I've been studying Deborah's work for a number of years. I've done a few of her e-courses and had a feng shui consultation at my house, which was phenomenal and separate. I've been coming to the women's weekends. I think I've been to the last 3 or 4 of the 5. I missed one along the way, and when the mentorship was first presented, I was like, oh, that sounds nice, and I love the work that Deborah does, but that's not for me right now. I'm not going to be able to make that happen. And then the next women's weekend, I started to fill out the paperwork because I'm like, I haven't progressed that much in the last 6 months. I love these tools, but I'm not doing it. I know I need help. And I started to fill out the form and then chickened out. I'm like, no, it's going to be too much. I have too much on my plate. So I ignored it again. And then finally, I was presented with the invitation again, and I realized, like many of us have been sharing, I realized the disparity between the life that I wanted and envisioned for myself and knew that I was capable of, and where I was at and the patterns that I was repeating, even with the tool set that I had acquired. And I had this clear vision of the projects I wanted to birth forth, of the relationships I wanted to create that didn't exist yet, and the ones that I wanted to nurture with my family and friends that I had already. I knew I wanted more pleasure in my life. I was, very blessed. My life is fine, and I was very grateful for the life that I had, but I knew I couldn't continue the way that things were, that it wouldn't have been fulfilling and satisfactory, and that I was struggling more than I felt was necessary for me to, that was really robbing me of a lot, operating in that sense. And so I finally took the plunge and committed and signed up for the program. And it's been, so I just started with the program this last October. So it's only been 6 months and halfway through my first year. And I can tell you honestly that having the support and the community and the inspiration of what's possible and the osmosis, I have utilized these tools with such velocity that my life is almost unrecognizable from what it was 6 months ago. And I've made more productive changes in not only my external circumstance, but just the way I go through my day-to-day than I had in the last decade or so. So I'm so grateful for the program, and I'm looking forward to all that we're embarking on for the remainder of the year and beyond.
Yeah, beautiful, thank you. So, there is a lot offered, and because you all use the tools, right? What is one of the most impactful pieces of the mentorship for you, right? What has been something that really has made a difference that you've utilized? So let's start there, and anybody who would like to share first.
I'll go ahead. So, like, I've done the courses, I have the Find Your Me Spot book, and whenever I'm feeling stuck, I'm like, okay, I need to draw myself a bath, and I'm just gonna flip around in the book and get started again. And so I've had these tools, and it wasn't until very recently that I discovered that I was still approaching my senses above the neck. That it was like a very mental process. Like, I know, okay, I'm gonna smell these oils, I'm going to look at my eye, I'm going to do these different activities and breathing exercises, but I was still thinking about it. I was still receiving it on a mental level, and I would get some benefit out of it. But it wasn't until recently that Deborah's kept reminding me of the oracle and embodiment and like really driving my focus there. And I would, get distracted, but I have this career goal and I want to do this and I want to do this. And I kept flitting around the oracle, and it finally landed that there was no there still. And so even applying the tools, that I wasn't able to receive them because I didn't have the landing pad for the airplane to land and for me to really experience them and utilize them from the inside out. So that's something that you're only going to get from the mentorship and having this community and having the one-to-one instruction with Deborah to realize how to make it fit you and and how much you speak to what we're capable of and drawing that out of us. So thank you.
Cool. Yeah, embodiment, embodiment, embodiment. Like whatever you do, embodiment, embodiment, embodiment. It is where the information actually takes hold and will get transformed for sure. So I love that that's came up for you.
I can go.
Sure.
Okay, so honestly, I would say the choice for me, like the choice where I said, okay, I'm going to choose me, was challenging. But one of the biggest lessons has been revisiting that sometimes hour by hour. Because I realized through just the process of going to the women's weekend, doing the embodiment exercises, that I was raised in a way to block myself and completely focus on the other person. So I'm just now realizing that the whole embodiment thing, same with me, definitely. Like, when there's an exercise, I have to really work to not go outside and go to someone else and go even energetically do that. And that's been incredibly valuable. And also I think having witnesses, Deborah's an amazing witness. and she's very good at holding space for whatever growth is necessary. But also having other women to support that growth is so, there's not a price you can put on that.
Yeah, beautiful, it's true. I mean, you can tell also by just this weekend and sitting around and sharing at the tables with each other, to be witnessed, to be seen fully for who you are as a woman is a rare gift these days. And that's why being in a women's community does make a world of difference. And thank you. I mean, I haven't asked them to say anything specific. This is really just from their hearts. And I want to be authentic and real as possible. So thank you, because that is a key component in what's available. Absolutely.
For me, the biggest impact is reflected in my house, in my home, because I'm a sensual person. I like to use all the senses, and because now I know that that's important to feel, because I'm awareness. I develop a certain level of awareness, and I made these massive modifications that I haven't finished yet in my house. And I said major because it was major. It took us months to raise my bed, and finally
we're going to talk more about the Oasis stuff. So if you're like raising your bed, don't worry, you'll hear about that this afternoon.
Yeah. and those things that I feel connected to, that makes me feel myself and then keep me grounded. I love to cook, and it's just, I find just like joy to do that. And in every little corner or space in my house, I have something to be grateful for. I think gratitude is the one thing that I get myself back. I woke up to these beautiful person that I am, that I wasn't allowed to recognize or to say. But my home is just like this place that I feel strong because the changes I have made, and because my goddess, I'm gonna bring pleasure to my job.
Excellent.
I feel kind of like, what should I do there?
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and with your environment, again, we're going to spend most of the afternoon in our environments in terms of the Oasis pillar. Our homes, now you're speaking to your home, is an actual representation of you, right? And so therefore, it's a space that can hold the mojo energy and support all the other pieces that you're doing. So I love that. Beautiful. Yeah.
So for me, I had no idea where I was going to start, what I was going to do. Oh my God, what do I, like, how to start, but I picked the easiest one was working on my home. Do some cures, do this, and things around. And then for myself, just doing the love body wash, loving myself, and listening to doing affirmations and listening to meditations. And I didn't even realize I was changing until my husband started changing. So one of the things she says, you change yourself, you make a shift, and everybody else is going to shift with you. And my husband made huge shifts. Like I told you earlier, I thought my marriage was going to be over. And he just, and it was quick. It was like he started just being so lovable and saying such awesome things to me. And he would tell me just like, he couldn't keep his hands off me, it was just like, and I'm like, and I'm like, and he goes, I don't know why I love you so much, honey, and he would just like, and he goes, and I started saying to him, well, what is there not to love, I started changing that mindset, right, before I wouldn't say that, and he said, you put a spell on me, and, so I am not in that place now with him where I want to leave him, or I want to just sever those ties, So it's work in progress, still, but it's getting there. And so that just made me a big believer. And so now, you just dig deeper, dive in more and learn all these things that there's just so much that like every time I come to a Mojo weekend, I learn something new. and it's amazing.
I agree, there is so much. Soon after coming on board, the first change was your accountability around the oasis, because I had some resistance around, you know, the way my bed had been for 13 years, and separated under the same roof with my man at the time. In it, crammed in a little one bedroom where we were only gonna be for 6 months, and we were there 6.5 years with our daughter. So you really gave nudges there, so I appreciated the accountability. The very first, love the laser one-on-ones, and it's amazing to me in such a short period of time, 15, 30 minutes tops, wow, big revelations and clarity. And from our very first one, had huge aha moments and clarity around the direction with work. And within the next, I forget the exact details, but it was like within the next few months, I had doubled the income of the entire last year. I mean, it was something major like that. If you want the exact, I can look it up for you, but it was big. So within a few weeks of finally making some of the feng shui changes, we found a house, which was a major, I mean, if I thought I couldn't afford the mentorship, we didn't think we could afford the house. But anyway, here I am, 3 years later, in the house, and my man and I back together, work in progress, but major ahas and insights, lifelong patterns, changing, shifting, unhooking. And the fact that we do come together for these high impact, intensive weekends, the one we're in now, and then the embodiment retreats twice a year, and they're spaced nicely, so it helps me to just have that infusion, recommitment, intensification. Wonderful. Those are some of my highlights.
Oh, beautiful. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit, if I may, about Annie. She's this adorable, fabulous daughter. But I think you've shared with her some of the tools.
Yes.
And if you could just speak to that.
Well, she, let's see, was that really great example that I had last time, but what was it?
Oh, gosh. Oh, right.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay, so the story that Deborah shared last night about her mom, and what, I get all sad and victim about it, when she had to hear from her mother, you're not the daughter I ever wanted to have. I thought, my gosh, I need to make sure Annie knows the exact opposite. She is, oh my goodness, been dreaming her in my entire life. So, tucking her in that night, I just said, I want you to know, that what did I say? It was something
You're
like,
the daughter I've always
you're
wanted.
Thank you, you're the daughter I won't see. It was very profound. You do, yes. I want you to know you're the daughter I always wanted. And just the beaming light on her face that she heard it from the depths. That was really special. So yes, and we do the love. I love my body, and we do all that
Because
together.
you do the lotion with her.
The lotion with her.
Because you do the love body wash in
beautiful.
the shower,
Mm-hmm.
or you can do it out of the shower with your lotion and your oils, and on your face, of course, So.
And I hear her, just on her own, just body, beautiful, doing it. She's 10. So
Could you imagine if we knew this when we were 10? Like, what, I'd be out of business.
What a great way.
Come up with other things.
Yeah, but by the way, I'd like to actually be out of business in this way.
I think you'd have a different business.
I would have a different one for sure. I'm just saying, wouldn't that be amazing? And it's so great because, again, you have a job, right? So taking this on and being this kind of a woman for yourself first, and all of you have this example of how it has shifted into the people around you. Yeah, so that's really, really beautiful. And if you could share a little bit more also about the impact of the community, right, and having this witness. So what's one of the things you love? Because we come together as a group virtually twice a month, right? Once is always the group mentoring call that I lead, and then every other month you get to be with DJ, and then every other month we have our movie club right now, right? So we have two group
gatherings virtually each month. So, and then we have our embodiment experience retreats, right? So what is it like to have that in your life and have that container? How has that supported you?
So that's definitely an invaluable piece of the program. You don't know what you don't know, so being able to be on the group calls and hear the other questions from the other ladies is invaluable, because sometimes something's not working in your life and you can't even put your finger on it, and you don't know even how to ask the question to get the answer, but then someone else, because we're reflections of each other, someone else is going through something. So there's so much benefit from being in this community of women that everyone, you're the reflection of the 5 people closest to you. And so we're more than 5, but it's still like I would say one person is the mentorship. But yeah, you get to have that be a consistent aspect of your monthly life and like your week, that you're going to check in and be held to this caliber of like your best, most magical, most delicious self. You get to tap into that and see everyone else aspiring and creating that as well. And so you start to have this yardstick that you measure everything else up to in your life. Like, where am I not being fully expressed and fully modulicious in this area, and how I'm eating, how I'm doing my house, how I'm bathing. Like, the possibilities are infinite, and it's been so invaluable. And like, everyone's so supportive and encouraging and loving, and so it's the most beautiful experience to just get loved on all year round by the most amazing women.
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing is that after you shared that last time about sharing that with your daughter, of course I went home. Because I felt the same way. I was like, first of all, when you told that story last time, it really impacted me. I mean, it shook me to the core. And so when I was able to share it with my daughter, just that experience right there shows the power of witnessing and an embodiment and practice. Being able to do that. And then something just occurred to me now, having opportunities. So I'm an intuitive expert, so I support people in connecting with their intuition, and then also as they go on their journey, I support them and guide them in how to deepen that and navigate the world, because it becomes pretty intense once you get sensitive to things. So one of the things, I just went to an event, pretty intense once you get sensitive to things. So one of the things, I just went to an event, and it was an amazing panel, nonfiction panel about podcasting. And I was, in the audience, and I was kind of looking up on stage, and I knew one of the people up on stage, and I'm like, I want to be on a panel. And then we were talking, and I'm like, I'm on a panel. I'm on a panel.
Oh, yeah. Think it, say it, create it. Yeah.
So I think that pretty much says it all, right? Embodiment, manifestation, right here.
Yeah, beautiful.
Well, for me, the Zoom calls, the group calls, allowed me to, I'm learning to feel vulnerable, because before it was like a huge no, I'm not gonna present, I want you to see me like this strong, non-destructive woman, which everything is fine with me. The moment I accept that many people is going through the same, it just like melt my life. And then I open to that opportunity to be vulnerable, and then I receive lots of respect from everyone. And that is freedom. It frees me. It is just like, I got my breath back. I got my life in pieces, which I learned that there's no pieces ever existed. But it feels great. It feels great that I'm vulnerable. And then I'm owning it at this moment, and I'm accepting that. However, a great tool for me are the WhatsApp. Every Monday we receive a message from Deborah on WhatsApp. And then in my times of crisis, or when I feel that I'm losing it, I just go back, and that's a great tool for me. I always go back. And you know, by the time on Monday, I receive that, and then it's talking to me again, and again, and again. And it is just like, keep me together again. I put myself together.
Yeah, we all need reminders. Yeah, so every Monday you're assured your week is going to start off with Mojo, because you'll be right in our text group, right? And yeah, it's a really fun way to start the week. And I love that you go back and look at them. I've never said to do that, by the way. You know? So it's so fantastic that you're like, all right, great, here's this easy resource right in the phone, in the palm of your hand, because we all got one. That's fantastic. Beautiful.
So for me, I usually don't have a set question when we go into our group calls, but I just learn so much from everybody else's questions, and then it brings up something, then that stirs up something, and then I bring it up, and so it's always a learning experience. And one of the things I wanted to say, I don't know if it has anything to do with this, but it's just being grateful for everything. You know, I never used to be really grateful for anything. I mean, just not in the way that Deborah shows us, or, you know, gratitude and what you get back from it. And so now I look back and all the challenges that brought me to Deborah, like me feeling like I was in a shitty place, right? And, you know, my marriage falling apart and my finances falling apart. And I am so grateful for all that, because it brought me to this point of my life where I said yes to this mentorship, and I have learned so much that I never knew existed. It was like a whole new world for me. And, you know, so those are one of the things that, you know, she posted on WhatsApp, is like, what is in your way, you know, and you have to accept what's in your way, because it's going to bring something into your life, something wonderful.
Because what's happening is what's happening. And it's about who we're going to be about it, right? We can resist, and we will continue to bump up against it. And there's a way to then go, okay, so this is what's so, and what actually is my desire. Then who am I going to be? And from that place, that's where you can take the inspired next step, right? So yeah.
Yes to all of that, and then I would just add that being together here today, I think we've had little mini experiences, I have, in the table shares. There's just that amplification, being witnessed and heard, and supportive even from afar when we go about our busy lives, but still to have that connection and know that there's just a bond, being on the journey, sharing the journey together.
Yeah. Well, I want to celebrate all of you for saying, you know, yes, being the kind of women who said yes to yourselves, and the fact that, you know, look, you're doing it. It's not, by the way, yes, do I hold space? Absolutely. You get that it's you using the tools, it's you saying yes to your lives, you saying yes to these practices, and allowing them to shift you and your world. And so one of the things we always do is we start our calls with celebrating ourselves, like, what are you celebrating about yourself and or your life? And we end our calls with, what's been your aha? What's your golden nugget, right? So I'd love for you to just go ahead and celebrate something about yourself and your life right now, and then let us know what a golden nugget has been for you in being a part of this community.
And sometimes when you start the sentence, you have no idea what's going to come out. So I really celebrate my determination and tenacity to do the work that it takes to become more of me and live from that highest place.
Yay.
Celebrate that.
Yeah, I can celebrate that
one. And an aha in this whole, okay, here's one. And it so links to the goddess that I got. You know, just really, and I know the date that it's December 21st, session together, and just this big wake up to, just a dynamic, a 13-year dynamic with Dave, you know, just even though we've been working on it, but this idea of the juice I was getting out of victim to whatever he was doing or not doing. And that was a major, major shift and empowering, because it was good news, bad news. You know, the bad news is, oh dear, that's not a good idea. But the good news is, oh, then I just have to do me. And I get to be in charge of me and take control of what I can take control of and create the life I want. Got it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
And the awareness, right, without the action,
is mental masturbation.
Right? Awareness without action? Yeah, okay, great. So it's, you know, again, have the awareness and then take the next available powerful action step. Great. Celebration and your golden nugget.
My celebration is that I'm just here today, enjoying the weekend. Just been getting a lot of good feedback from people, beautiful, you know, things from other people that I know here that just been saying great things about me, and it just made me feel so good inside. And my aha is that, you know, this is a learning. I still have a lot to learn. And I had a one-on-one with Deborah today and peeling back another layer. And like, wow, I didn't know that. We had a little talk back there. I'm like, damn. And I thought I knew a lot more than that, and no. So just an eye-opener, you know, and mainly about vulnerability and pleasure. And so, yeah. Yay!
Yeah.
My celebration, I'm celebrating life. And as a whole, as something sacred, because I'm feeling it. My aha is that it's been a process, but I have like 6 little notebooks and different writings. I've been writing because I'm grateful. I've been writing the messages that I feel very empowered, your messages. I have another one. And then I have like 5 with, you know, different titles, golden, literally, titles. And one of my major issues is I don't follow through. So I make a commitment with myself. And I begin with a very simple thing, as I matching my underwear. Not because it looks pretty, because I have to do it. I have the habit of not doing that. So well, if I can do that, I can commit to something else. So I've been writing, I've been matching my underwear, I've been remembering to do certain things that I committed to, and that is a huge aha. Because I'm very proud of myself.
Absolutely.
I haven't, you know, maybe 1 or 2 days that I haven't done one thing, but mostly yes.
I love that. I didn't know about the underwear thing, by the way. That's fantastic. How fun.
Yeah. It's a form of a discipline for me, and then to begin and to continue, you know, develop the habit, because I can apply it to something bigger and major.
Yes, you know, allow yourself to trust yourself.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. I mean, I love that right there.
So,
I celebrate Natalia. But all jokes aside, I gotta tell you, when I first made the decision to join the mentorship program, one of the biggest hurdles I had, and I hadn't quite thought about this, so this is both my golden nugget and my celebration, is that I'm not really a joiner. I'm a doer, a loner kind of person. So that's awesome. It's a great quality to have. And I found myself at some point, because I you know, had a lot of life challenges, I was able to get through them, and some of it was white knuckling, and I did it alone. And then the question was, to what end? To what end was I doing it alone? That's awesome, I can do it alone. And then what? And so I celebrate the fact that I was able to relax and receive this amazing group of women and the incredible group that's out there, and just the receiving exercise the first day where we sat and received the compliments. I celebrate that part of myself that's able to do that now, that can relax.
Yes.
And know I can do it alone, but also know that I can be part of a community.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So my celebration is that I've been wanting to for like a decade to write a book, and it's something that I always have on my to-do list. At some point before I die, I'll write a book. And I've even contributed as a ghostwriter on some projects, but I haven't written my book. And so with working with Deborah, I've identified and cleared out some things that weren't serving my ultimate goals, and now I have the space to. And I joined a accountability group with like daily prompts to write your book in 40 days. So
Oh my God, I love that. That's an update for me too.
I'm so excited. Yeah. And my aha moment is, I have it. That I used to really lament over people in my life or past events that had robbed me of my mojo, and I was surprised I didn't get sent that because I had felt like such a victim to these people that had taken that away from me. So my golden nugget is just that the mojo is here within us at all times, and we have the access to it. We just have to tap into that there's no mojo available to me or us in the past. Like maybe we were mojolicious then, but our current mojo isn't available to us back then. It's not available to us in the future. So I paint this picture of this beautiful life I'm gonna have in the future, but my mojo that I'm going to feel fulfilled and lit up by is not coming from there. It's coming from right now in this moment. And these events and the mentorship is like a wellspring of mojo. So you tap into it, you are just overflowing with the mojo. So it's such a valuable resource to be able to come to these events, to have the mentorship program, and to just feel that abundance.
Beautiful. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I love you ladies so much. And thank you for celebrating yourselves. Thank you for saying yes. And thank you for generously sharing. It's helpful to hear just what's possible, So thank you for being the kind of women who agreed to share yourselves and really make a difference out in the world by being who you are. So Amy and Teresa and Natalia and Tricia and Kameko, thank you. I really appreciate you. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now, as we have a fantastic rest of the day, and I wanted you to hear just practical stories, practical wins, practical experience with the women who are using this information in their lives. Some of them for 6 months, some of them for a year and a half, some for a bit longer. And you do have an opportunity to join this beautiful community, right? Again, you are invited. And I lost my clicker. So I'm picking up my clicker. So you are invited to join this phenomenal group. And by the way, it's about you first, right? It's really about choosing you first. And you heard, of course, we all have our considerations. We all have, is the money a consideration? Is the husband a consideration? Is the, time in my life consideration? The fact of the matter is to actually really get value out of being a part of this mentorship, it's giving yourself 1 to 2 hours a week, certainly 1. And why do I say 1? Because that way you can listen to the content, which is in Mojo Central. All right, you've got content that we have a curriculum that's laid out for you. If you're somebody who loves to follow step by step, we got that for you. If you're someone that's I want to do my own thing, and I like to do a little this and then a little of that, cool. You can bounce around and use the content however you would like. What is new is going to be this accountability. We have Mojo accountability so that you actually use what you've signed up for. Because sometimes left to our own devices, we will not use the tools that we have. That's why I know I put accountability in my life as well, right? I have certain calls and things like that. And you have that available to you. You know, in terms of community, of course, yes, there's going to be 2 times a month, for sure, that you are going to be in community. You've got the group with me. You'll also have DJ every other month. You'll have our movie club every other month. And you'll get to have your one-on-ones with me, all right? And so that, as you heard, and if you've had a chat with me this weekend, and many of you have, you know we can go very deep, very quick, right? And so those are those sessions that allow you to bring your life forward, really pull your life to you so you can get supported. And in those moments, you know, that we feel not totally connected to our mojo, because we all have those moments, right? You have that container, you have that support for yourself on a regular basis. And every week does start with this mojo text. And you have that in your phone. And that is a way to, again, no matter what's going on, be reminded, oh, right, I actually am this kind of a woman. I am the woman who stays, you know, connected to her mojo and her life force and her pleasure and her joy and her ecstasy. And even when there are times of struggle and when there are times of hardship, because those are going to be there, you now have this new pool of tools that's readily available so that those times are less intense and have shorter, take you out for shorter amounts of time, right? You've got the community. You've got, as I mentioned, Mojo Central, where not only is there curriculum, and again, super easy. If you are using a phone, you know, you've got your own login, just like email. You log in anytime you want. Morning, noon, night, 3 in the morning. And if you're having trouble sleeping sometimes, I recommend you go in there. We have meditations as well that will support you in staying in your body. There are a couple great embodiment meditations in there. So that's in Mojo Central, plus additional content. And of course, what we're putting in our heads, right, what we're hearing, makes a difference in who we're being. And there, in Mojo Central, there are tremendous amount of bonuses. I have interviewed 70 plus different experts at this point in finances, in fashion, and in health and well-being, in relationships, in sex, in dating. And all of that is in the portal for you. So that's in Mojo Central. There's the mentoring, of course. You get a one-on-one with me once a month. And for those times, be like, oh my God, it's really challenging. You know, I need Deborah by the day of my session. Don't worry, in your back pocket, right? You got 4 supercharge calls. And those are there for you whenever you need them. And I would think, you know, for any of you ladies, sometimes some of you have gone through some really tough stuff, and if you texted me and said, by the way, like I need, you know, need a little 911 right now, have I gotten right back to you?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, you know, so you are well supported all around, right? I do have your back, and you have the women. You get DJ as well, right? So there's mentoring with him and coaching with him. And we have our embodiment experience. That is that deep dive 2-day retreat. We have them in June and in December. And that's just our mentorship gals. And we always have a really fun activity on the Saturday evening. Really fun. Some, you know, they change up all the time. So we've got that for you. There's, you know, all the perks, the discounts on other products and programs. I always create something new. My mentorship gals get it usually for free if it's a new program. Like I just launched a new program a couple months ago, or like 6 weeks ago. And so that was brand new. That was yours, you know, as a gift. So you get all these other perks when you're in the program as well. And why is that helpful? Because it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you on the cutting edge of your mojo. And it allows you to layer in, step by step, this information and the practice of it in your life. That's what makes the difference. Bonuses. You're going to have the one-on-one blast off with me. And when you sign up, you're going to get your first step blast off scheduled. So it's not like, ooh, I sign up and poof, go home and, you know, disappear. No, no, no. We're going to sign you up today, and then you're going to get on the calendar, and we're going to get you right into the mojo flow. And why that's so important is energy in motion stays in motion. It's all about keeping yourself in motion. That doesn't mean you have to run around and make yourself crazy. It's about making sure that you get in the mentorship. You have this call scheduled. It's like when you book any appointment. So you book your appointment for next month for your monthly call. That energy is staying in motion because you have now created a container for yourself. You'll have your one-on-one with DJ, and he's giving you 2-hour mindset call, which I thought it was only an hour. So you're gonna get 2 hours with him, and as you know, he can help you really let go of what's in the way from up here. Right? And at the retreat in June, we're having a VIP self-care ritual session with Jeanette Skincare. So that's something brand new. And I got a real hit this morning. I wanted to add in one other bonus for you. All right. And since we are talking about the new moon, and we talked about influences of as above, so below, I thought it might be impactful, and I was kind of getting the feeling that you might enjoy having a one-on-one personalized astrology reading with me.
Yay.
I thought so. I was getting that feeling. So what's so wonderful about that is it's the blueprint of who you are. Right, when we come in on a certain day, certain month, certain year, certain time, in a certain place. And all of that creates what's called your birth chart. And understanding that, you can go, there are lots of astrologers out in the world, that's great. But understanding that on the level of your mojo and who you are as a woman, and what is naturally powerful for you, and what is naturally, could use a little bit of support, that makes a real difference in how you not only accept yourself. The thing that I hear from women when I have read their charts is like, oh my goodness, I'm more comfortable just knowing who I am, because I thought I might be crazy because of that part of myself. No, you're not crazy. It's like the way your house is built, right? If you're going to make some renovations, let's know, you can use your support with construction terms, but let's know, what are the load-bearing areas, and let's find out which ones are going to be more impactful if we do renovate. Because you might go after some area that doesn't need any renovating, right? So I will offer that to you when you enroll today. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you'll get that support from me as well. So it's just another gift to inspire you to have you take yourself seriously, right? And again, say, I'm worth it. I'm really, really, really worth it. Okay, we are going to send you off to lunch, but here's the thing. I know that there are a number of you in this room who are like, I really want this program. I know it's meant for me. And I also know it feels really scary. And I know that part of you feels like you might want to throw up. You might want to go have a cry. And what I'll say to that is it's supposed to feel that way. Real transformation does not initially feel comfortable. I know I'm supposed to say it's all going to be yummy and easy and this and that. And by the way, it gets to that place. The initial choice should feel uncomfortable. If it didn't, I frankly wouldn't want you to do it. The kind of transformation that makes a difference needs friction. To have an orgasm, we need some friction. Okay? And in the chemistry lab, you gotta have some friction, and chemicals need that in order to transform to something new. So the friction you're feeling inside yourself is a good sign. It's a sign that your body is actually a yes. And your body always knows. And my invitation to you is to listen to your body instead of the smaller voice of your head. Instead of, the fear, doubt, and worry, what I call the hecklers, that are the ones saying, stay small, stay safe, it's gonna be so much better, you're okay here. And while you might be okay here, what's happening is you're not really living into your desire. And your life is on the line. You know, if I was a doctor and gave you a terminal diagnosis and said, but here's the thing, we have a cure. We have a cure for that. And this is what it is. I guarantee you would sign up, you would do it, you would say, take me, cut me, now. And the thing that is going on is whatever toxic old thoughts and patterns are in you that aren't working right now. And you're being presented with an opportunity and a prescription to say, you know what? Here, you can have you. You can have your life. And I honestly welcome you with open arms. It is a joy, it is a pleasure, it is an honor. It moves me to support you in this way, like really. And for those of you that have questions, come talk to me. I'm gonna be around at lunch, okay? Linda's gonna come up, we're gonna take a lunch break. And in the afternoon, we have a great afternoon lineup, so don't think that, you know, we ain't done yet. We're gonna spend a lot of time in the Oasis. We have a fabulous guest speaker, and I also have some other little surprises for you this afternoon as well, right? Those of you who are ready to join the mentorship, go ahead and fill out your forms, go to the back table, hand them in to Judy and to Linda, and let's get you signed up so that, you know what, your mojo life starts now, like for real. And tonight, you'll come to our reception. I have a reception at 7 o'clock for all our current mentorship members and the new ones. So you're invited to that as well. All right? I love you ladies, I really do. And I'm excited for you, and I'm glad that you are in this room, and I'm really glad that some of you are gonna be joining for the mentorship. So I'll see you after lunch.